Welcome to the Angry Microwave Podcast, episode...
About 9?
What was last... 2 years ago was the last episode. And it was episode 5, so we're on episode 6.
Oh, okay.
That's all for the...
Yeah, so not winning any awards for the most consistent podcast.
The wait has been worth it, though.
But you say that. We'll see if anyone actually watches this one. Thank you if you are. If you're not, then who are we even talking to? Really?
I was going to say it to the next podcast we're recording, because this definitely isn't the same day. But you're officially a master of film.
I am officially a master of film.
With
only on paper, due to...
With great responsibility. You know, the Batman phrase.
Spider-Man phrase.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Okay. Fucking hell. Right, okay. So it's been 2 years since we last did the podcast. We're not going to do a whole recap about what's happening. Some of us have been out of university for a while and in the real working world. Some of us have just finished university for the second time because real life scares us. But what hasn't changed is that we're interested in everything film and everything media. So
that's true. That
seems like a nice segue to start the podcast, I think.
We're going to recap what this podcast is. I mean...
Okay, so if you're new to the podcast, because let's face it, a lot of people may have died in the space of subscribing.
Well, to be fair, 2016 has happened in between this and the last episode.
Yeah.
So you killed Bruce Forsyth is basically what you're saying.
Well... Yeah,
yes.
It's time to go. Anyway, so this podcast is what you're hosting this one. You tell them what it is.
So it's basically an amalgamation. Is that?
Yeah,
it's
a
word.
Well. You're doing well, yeah.
Of all things like film, gaming, tech,
anything we like,
Lego, and we also have a film podcast on the side that we'll come back to at the end.
Yeah.
So,
the format of that's quite simple for the film one. We talk about film and then we finish. This one may be a bit of a mess because such is life.
Do you think of all the segues we can make?
Think of all the segues. Oh, if you could do us a favour and don't go back and watch the podcast before this from 2 years ago, because between us we probably put on about 3 stone. So
that's because it's quite an underestimate.
About 6 stone. So yeah, a lot's happened in that time. But anyway, let's go straight into the first topic of the day.
It's all that podcast building up in us.
Mm-hmm. It is all that podcast building up in us. I don't know what the fuck that means.
So we're going to release our load in this podcast.
So we're just going to chat about things that we're interested in. If you're interested in these topics, give us a like to let us know we're not alone in the world. Or give us a dislike, because at least then we know people are watching it.
At least someone's taken enough effort.
Yeah.
To dislike.
In fact, give us a dislike and unsubscribe. That would...
But maybe unsubscribe. I mean, we haven't got many, but...
No, all 3 of you, thank you for subscribing.
You mean everything to us.
Yes.
And two ways of mean you.
Thanks, Thanks, Mum. So what was the first topic today?
So, a thing happened last Friday.
Did it?
It was the second thing that's happened.
Oh.
In 2 years.
Wow.
All year?
Okay.
So, Force Friday 2.
Okay, I'm listening.
Did you get anything?
No.
Well, to be fair, I'm not going to lie. This whole segment is basically an excuse for me to show off.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. So, to be fair, show them what it does.
It can show you this little thing.
No, Callum's got a bit of an obsession with Lego.
No, I haven't. I haven't got a stockpile in that corner, have I?
You absolutely do have an obsession. But tell them how much that was, because I would have thought that would have cost a couple of £100.
It was £80 sterling.
£80 sterling, which in this economy, I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's a thing.
Thanks, Brexit. But yeah, I think that's a pretty cool. Whereabouts did you get that from?
I got it from Argos.
From Argos?
You can buy via the link below.
Are you trying to wink?
Tried to wink and realised it wasn't really working.
No, but that is pretty cool. So some people may not know what Force Friday actually is.
Should I tell the people what Force Friday is?
Tell them what the Force Friday is, yeah.
Force Friday is where George Lucas sits in his little house and he sees his bank go up.
Little house.
And he sees his bank account start to come up with numbers from all the royalties. So basically,
does he get royalties now though?
I'm pretty sure he still will. I mean, I'm pretty sure
he's worth $4 billion, isn't it? If he doesn't get royalties, I'm sure he's not crying.
I'm pretty sure you can't sell your royalties. Well, you probably could sell your royalties, but I don't think it would be.
Anyway, so everything Star Wars is discounted essentially, isn't it?
No.
No, is it not?
It's just new stuff.
I thought it was mostly discounted stuff.
No, it's all new stuff at RRP.
Oh. And now the one thing about Force Friday is that a lot of people were expecting, because we've only got one trailer so far, haven't we? I believe for the highly anticipated Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So a lot of people were expecting us to get a new trailer for that, which we didn't get. So that's a bit of a disappointment, I think, for some people. But yeah, it's mostly for people who like to, relive their youth and go out and buy some new toys. Which,
I mean, to be fair, everything was relatively spoiler free, apart from one thing.
Right.
The trading cards or the sticker book. I can't remember which one it is. And apparently, there's so many spoilers in it. It basically plots out the film.
Oh, I haven't actually heard this.
Thing. Yeah, so.
Do you want to tell me off air or?
No, because I avoided it.
Okay.
But everyone's saying basically don't go and collect the sticker book. I can't remember if it's trading cards or sticker book, because it literally is like page by page is the film, and then you see it unrolled.
Right.
And I know one thing which I won't say, but it wasn't spoilerific because it was a.
Do you want to say?
It's basically that there's 2 battles throughout, and it basically talks about the battles.
Right. Okay.
But
well, that's not good if they're going ahead spoiling the film, because at the moment Lucasfilm's a little bit of a mess already, isn't it?
But if you want to hear more about that,
yes, log into our film podcast, watch the film podcast. But that was Force Friday. If you bought anything, let us know. I remember when we went to Star Wars Celebration last year.
Oh, that was so good.
I bought so many trading cards then, and then they stopped selling them just after Star Wars Celebration. So I've got a trading card booklet, like one of those booklets that you get, and I've got half of the cards, and the price of them online now is like, no thank you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mr. Star Wars 0067A, I've sell it for 10 quid.
I didn't realise they went up in value.
Pardon?
I didn't realise that they would actually go up in value so quickly.
Well, I think it was just because they realised people like me are interested in, getting them. I don't know what the prices are now, it may have gone down, but once they stopped actually producing them, that's when the price went up. But yeah, happy Star Wars Day, which wasn't Star Wars Day, it was Force Friday, but...
I still think there should be like a better name than Force Friday.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think why I can't really think of it, but there should be.
Well, that was a worthwhile statement. Thanks.
I mean, this is what the people want.
This is what the people want. You've waited 2 years for this gold. Okay. Now, the next topic is something that I chucked on the show notes just because I was very excited about this. Okay.
Wait.
It's been out for a while now, but the revamped but original version, so basically a high quality version of the original Crash Bandicoot games. Okay, the Insane Trilogy. I have completed all 3 of them in terms of
have you really?
I completed the levels.
You have too much time,
completed
mate.
All no, I have completed that. Okay, during my dissertation for my masters. Okay. Don't ask me what grade I got for my masters.
Those 2 things that go together: doing a dissertation in your masters and completing Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. I'll leave you to kind of guess which one took priority, but no, I think after this we're going to see more game franchises go back to some open a can of Pepsi. I'm not in the middle of talking. I'm sorry if you're wearing headphones. No appreciation over here. But yeah, I think this is because of the success of this, because it was high in terms of not in terms of profit, because they're only selling the game for about 20 quid, between 20 and 40 pounds, depending on where
it was really well
you're
priced.
buying it from. It was ridiculous, considering it got 3 games in it in the original versions. But I think we're going to see more games re-released of this quality, which leads me on to say, if you could have any game from your childhood on the PlayStation or Xbox, revamped into a high definition version but keeping the original material and the original game, what would it be?
It would be a game that's recently been revamped and released, but I haven't played yet.
Well, here we go.
Sonic Mania. Have you heard about Sonic Mania?
I have not.
So it's a new Sonic game, but it takes certain levels from different games and turns it into one, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So I've been meaning to play that, but I haven't had time. But I mean, if that comes to the Switch, it might already. I'm not sure. I don't think it has. If it comes to the Switch, it'd be a perfect thing to play it on because Sonic was my jam when I was younger, alongside Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot is very much my jam. Hence why I've dedicated so many hours of my life to playing that again.
The thing is, I really wish Crash Bandicoot, and it's still made because it's not an exclusive. Well, it's a timed exclusive, but it will come to other platforms. If it comes to my Switch, specifically mine,
Just your Switch, yeah.
I'd be very happy because it's the perfect game to play when travelling. Like, if you think about it, just get on a train.
Absolutely is, yeah.
When 10 minutes turns into an hour and
you
miss your stop.
Is there anything else that you'd like to see revamped? Because some of my favourite games from the past, I don't think would translate well. For example, like the first couple of Tekken games. Because to be honest, the format's always been the same. So I think if you want to replay the first Tekken, apart from some of the characters that may be missing or added along the way, it's always been the same game, essentially. In my opinion. I mean, feel free to shout at me. My mum does all the time.
I mean, like...
Make me sound like I'm 5 years old.
There's one really unconventional game that I'd love to see kind of remade and reimaginated, kind of.
Yeah.
Is the original Harry Potter games when they came out.
That's a good one.
Philosopher's Stones, Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
Like, they were so good when I was a child. I think I was about 5 or 6 when they came out.
I think the problem with those games is that as the games went on, because obviously they spanned a series of like 10 years or whatever it was. The graphics obviously got better, but I think the gameplay actually dipped. I think the gameplay for the first 2 games...
It got more vanilla, it seemed.
Yeah.
It was more kind of like...
vanilla. Yeah.
Easy choice.
Yeah. No, but I think the gameplay of the first 2, and you collected the beans and everything, I think that's all cool.
You still upgrade your broomstick.
To see that... Well, whatever you're into. But I think to revamp that would be a good idea. But let us know what games you'd like to see revamped. I'm hoping they follow through with Crash Team Racing. That was so many people love Mario Kart, but Crash Team Racing was always my jam. So I'm hoping that they re-release that.
That would be good.
It would be bloody good. That's why I'm saying it. Okay.
We're storming through these topics, aren't we?
Bloody are, mate. How long have we been recording for? 12 minutes. How's that for a podcast?
Is it actually? Oh, it's 12 minutes.
The recording now.
Well, there's two recordings.
Anyway, this is who needs to do, rehearsals. Okay, we do it live. We're seamless. So Thorpe Park. Okay, if you're UK based, which I'm assuming most of you are. Thorpe Park is obviously a theme park within the UK. So tell the people what they're doing for Fright Night.
So The Walking Dead is coming to Thorpe Park Resort, which I'm very excited about. So obviously over the past few years, it's been a massive thing over in America, Universal, because they have Universal Horror Nights, and The Walking Dead was one of their key things. So now it's coming to the UK. I'm very excited to see what they do with it. And there's also not one thing. There's an indoor experience and an outdoor experience coming.
Well, what's the difference between the two? Other than one's outside.
It's all very secretive at the moment. Like there's not much details, but
okay.
I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, The Walking Dead, haven't watched in about 2-3 years, but when it was on, I really enjoyed it. And I got up to Terminus, which is, I believe, where's one of them set. We also got a guest visit of a dog here. To be fair, it looks invisible if you just...
It's just an FYI, that's what I'm stroking. It's not me panting in the corner.
So, I'm really looking forward to it. What do you have you ever done any live horror experiences?
So essentially, this is like a walkthrough, isn't it? Is essentially what this is.
Yeah.
So you walk through the maze and people jump out at you.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So,
spoilers.
So fuck to the no. I have not done that. Okay. That kind of thing I hate. But I think it's great to have something like this come over to the UK. I'm sure Thorpe Park are going to do great business out of it. I think it's a great concept. I will not be joining because it's.
You had the invite last year, and you were like,
it's not the kind of thing that I'm into. So what have Thorpe Park had before?
So they've had Blair Witch.
Have they?
Which was really good last year.
The one you invited me to.
Yeah, they're all there.
Hence why I said no.
Cabin in the Woods they've had previously.
Right.
And probably their biggest one is Saw, but we didn't get a chance to do Saw last year.
Right.
But it's such a massive name, especially with the new film coming out at the end of this year, I believe.
And this comes out around Halloween time, doesn't it?
This is
primarily for Halloween.
This is in October.
Yeah. Okay. So that'll be something to kind of keep an eye on if you're into that kind of thing. Because what we do in this podcast, we spread the message.
2 years late, but we still spread the message.
Edinburgh Fringe Festival is something that happens every year in Scotland, obviously in Edinburgh. For the international viewers who are unsure what the Edinburgh Fringe actually is, let them have it.
It's over 3,000 shows in one city over around 25 days in August.
That's too many, isn't it?
It is too many. So we went there, thanks to the network of independent critics, shout out, who helped with funding for accommodation. So we went, we reviewed many shows, I think around 30. It was a very hectic schedule, but it was great fun.
What are your stand-up shows from the week of funny.
Well, I was talking to you earlier when you came about this. Every 2 years, they do a thing called the wrestling, where they get the biggest comedians, and they get some great UK wrestlers, and they come together and they wrestle, and it was really good fun. It's my second time going. I was a bit of a wrestling skeptic, before I went for the first time 2 years ago. And as soon as you get in, you understand the atmosphere, and you kind of get wrestling. Like the first time I watched it, I was like, I actually get this. It's fun to be in the audience and get behind. And it's not just grown-ups playing. Well, it is kind of grown-ups playing around.
But you can have fun with it. Because wrestling is cool, okay? Don't care what people say, okay? I'm a wrestling fan. But I can imagine watching people, like professional wrestlers, against, you know, these comedians who I can imagine get blown out pretty quickly. Like, they get exhausted and, you know.
But then again, they trained for months before for this one event in Edinburgh.
Right, yeah.
So there was some really impressive stuff. I mean, it was a battle royale 2 years ago, and then it was a ladder match. And from what the wrestling people there said, a ladder match is very dangerous.
Yes.
And non-professional wrestlers should not attempt it.
No.
so that was the thing that was really good. I mean, there's commentary by Andrew Maxwell and Brendan Burns, who are two brilliant comedians.
Okay.
One plays the baddie, and the other is all for
the heel and babyface.
Peace and quality, I think, is believe his catchphrase.
Right.
So yeah, it's just it's brilliant, and if you ever get a chance to go and see it, I mean, it's every 2 years ish. It's definitely.
I thought it was every year.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
So
it seems like you're always bloody there.
No, the wrestling. Edinburgh's every year.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
So trying to think what else I saw. I'm just looking on the website, edinburghmicrowave.com. Read all of our reviews. David Trent's brilliant. If you know Charlie Brooker,
I do.
He's very Charlie Brooker-ish. It's kind of like Charlie Brooker meets Dave Gorman.
Okay.
He's got a presentation and he shows some fucked up stuff. It's really good. Adam Richards is amazing. He's an improv guy, and he's one of the nicest comedians. But if I told you what happened, you wouldn't believe it because it was very like abstract.
I've always had an appreciation for comedians who kind of improv, you know, because not everyone can do it. You see a lot of these videos of comedians trying and failing quite hard. A bit like us with podcasting, really. So
also, Nightmare Live. Do you remember the classic kids show Nightmare?
Yeah.
There's a live version out that came out for 3 nights.
Right.
That's brilliant.
But it's a varied, isn't it? It's not just like stand-up comedy. There are shows. There are events.
So there's ballet. There's like Shakespeare theatre. There's comedy. There's musical comedy. Stand-up. There's literally everything you want. And music is a massive part of the festival as well.
Right.
So it's so big and it's impossible to see everything.
Would you recommend it to a friend?
I would recommend it. I mean, the thing is, if you go, the accommodation's so expensive.
Yeah.
You have to treat it like a
holiday, really.
It's not like a holiday.
Oh, is it?
So it's basically like it needs to be military position of like your times and where you gotta be.
Right.
Like you need to schedule.
So a bit like I guess when we went to Star Wars Celebration.
Yes, like you need to say I need to be at this panel by
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
I need to get to this place.
Just going back to Star Wars Celebration, I'd recommend that if ever it were to come back to Europe, which I'm not sure.
It's not next year.
No,
It's meant to, but they're
cooking everything up, aren't they?
and also one more shout out for an amazing show, which has a London residency, Wi-Fi Wars. Okay. So I'm not sure if you're aware of the channel Dave.
I'm aware of Dave.
Are you aware of the show Go 8-Bit, where they play video games?
I am aware of Go 8-Bit, yeah.
So Wi-Fi Wars was the original incarnation. It was drunk comedians playing very drunkly video games.
Right.
At the Fringe. About 5 years ago, and then it developed into this massive TV show, but they still have Wi-Fi Wars, which is the kind of original idea, at the festival every year for like 1 or 2 nights.
No.
And you play on your smartphone as a massive group, and the technology is amazing. So you play in your browser and you play against the other side, and it's just brilliant. It's amazing to see.
Sounds like a sight to behold.
I mean, it was a Friday night in Edinburgh, and they were so nerdy, including me. I'm obviously a nerd.
Don't know what you mean.
That we did a poll on the phone of how many people were drunk in Edinburgh at 1 a.m. and it was like 10%.
Right.
It was probably the most sober room in Edinburgh. But it's brilliant fun, and it's people like me and you, really. It's that collection.
Take that how you will.
It's that collection of people and community aspect. It was really nice.
Okay. Well, if it's something you're interested in, I've heard everyone who I know have actually gone to Edinburgh Fringe has said how wonderful a time it is, how crazy the whole month is, really. So definitely check that out. Moving on, we're going to be talking about TV shows to round up this episode, because there have been plenty of TV shows out this year. If I start, I guess I'll start with Game of Thrones, because you don't watch Game of Thrones, so I'll just give a quick recap. I know so many people have had a problem with the condensed time. How can I word it? There's a lot of jumping about. So normally the show is like walking and talking, like a lot of traveling from one city to another.
That's why I get up in season 2.
Right, well, that's not a thing anymore. 1 minute they're in one area of Westeros, then they're on another island, they're somewhere else. And it's certainly not a show you can jump into midway through season 6, 7, whatever. Because, this has been a... Are we still live? Are we working?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this isn't a show that people can just jump into, because obviously it's been building up for 6, 7 years. I still very much am enjoying the show. I'm going to stick with it. Obviously next season's the last one. I think it suffered from losing the 3 episodes per season.
Stick with the money.
It's now down to 7 episodes.
It's not going to be the last one. There's going to be something more.
Oh yeah, they're working on like 4 prequel shows.
4?
So yeah, 4 different shows.
It's worse than Star Wars.
Yeah, right. So, but I don't have an issue with that as much as I do with something like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black. Now, I think those shows, unfortunately, are starting to test my patience a little bit. House of Cards, a couple of years ago, I was raving about so much. I was saying it's one of the best TV shows on the internet, I guess.
You guys say TV.
yeah. One of the best shows on the internet. And same with Orange is the New Black. And then suddenly, Orange is the New Black was okay in the last season. I appreciated that the entire, I think it was 13 episodes, whatever, all took place over 3 days, which is an interesting take.
I think it needed that though, because it was kind of losing its context and pace. And...
But Netflix needs to stop ending, and it's something that pisses me off. It actively makes me angry.
Chill out.
Right? They need to stop ending their seasons with a cliffhanger. They need to resolve something in that season. Well, give me a cliffhanger, sure, but actually give me some like.
Well, I'm gonna absolutely screw up your Netflix.
Go on.
Ozark.
Okay, right. No, we'll go into Ozark in a second. Okay. But with House of Cards, last season, I felt like I was watching it because I was obliged to watch it. I wasn't actually enjoying it. And halfway through the first episode, I was like, I must be in the second episode now. I don't remember the transition or the credits. And it was actually 45 minutes into the first episode. And I think that's a bad sign when you're not too sure, first of all, whether you've watched 1 or 2 episodes, or whether you're starting to count down how long's left until the end of the season. And again, it felt like nothing particularly happened. It felt like a drag, and it's a shame because it's a show that I loved. And the same with Orange is the New Black. If they announce,
Was it Yoda inside me?
If they announce that the next season's the last season of House of Cards, it won't be for Orange is the New Black. I don't think. I'll watch it, but if they announce, for example, 2 more seasons, I don't think I can do that. Talking of Netflix, as you mentioned, Ozark, I think was a fantastic debut season.
It was Jason Bateman is so underrated as an actor and as
director
director now.
And a director, he directed the best episodes of that season.
I mean, the first 2 was some amazing story building because to give a whole episode just the pretext of what he loses, and you feel like he loses so much from just literally an episode.
And that's what the perfect thing about that season is that it wasn't like all first seasons where it's like an origin story. Like you're seeing this transition into a character that's Breaking Bad.
To be fair, it literally is like having the first 3 seasons of Breaking Bad into one episode.
But I love the pace of it because it felt like a complete season.
I mean, to me, it kind of felt like what Better Call Saul would have felt like if all 3 seasons were put into one. Because Better Call Saul is extremely slow. Yeah, it's brilliant, but extremely slow. And the second season was pretty much leading up to the 3rd season, and that doesn't really work when you have a year and a half in between. No,
and it's tedious, and I think audiences like they pick up on things like that. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good, solid season. I'm glad it's just been commissioned for a 2nd season. I just loved the pace of that. It was a great debut season. Another Netflix original was Glow, the female wrestling TV show. Where are you going with that? Yeah, if you haven't watched Glow, we've talked about wrestling a little bit. It's great if you're a wrestling fan. It's great if you just love drama and comedy because it's got a perfect blending of the two. That's something I've enjoyed very much. Again, a great debut season. I'm glad that's coming back for a second season. So I think Netflix is in a bit of a transitional period. I think we're starting to say goodbye to some TV shows, but they're introducing us to some great original concepts.
The thing is, I'm really happy that, like, if you asked me maybe 2 years ago how Netflix was going, you would say that they're playing really safe what we're doing. And there was another season of House of Cards, another season of Orange is the New Black, but now we're getting all this new stuff like Stranger Things, Ozark, and all these new, and even stuff doesn't really work. Like, I wasn't a massive fan of 13 Reasons Why, to be totally honest. It was watchable. Right. It wasn't great, but see these risks being taken by the company and having these returning favourites, and the perfect mix is something I'm glad to see, because 2 years ago it wasn't clear they were going to do that. And now it's really clear, like, that they will take a risk and they will do stuff.
And that's where the strength is right now. Is taking risks on original concepts.
I mean, to link back to Edinburgh Fringe, there's a comedian that's massive in Edinburgh, but outside, even in the UK, James Acaster. Have you heard of him?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So he's nobody, but well, he's not nobody, but like, he's not massive in terms of that. But it was announced on Sunday that they're recording 4 of his shows to go on Netflix as a Netflix original, which is massive. Like, it's not Michael McIntyre, it's not John Bishop, it's James Acaster, who's brilliant, and he needs that pushing. And they're taking a risk by saying we're going to take 4 of your shows, film it, and put it on Netflix, which is ridiculous for a comedian that you haven't heard of, like, to now be pushed out to the whole world via that platform. And it's those kind of risks that makes me justify me spending my money on Netflix.
And just a quick shout out, I've started watching Rick and Morty.
I watched 1 episode and didn't really get it. Right,
I'm really enjoying it, but I've only just started it, and we're soon, I think in the next couple of days actually, on my birthday I believe. They're doing the next season. Well, they're releasing the next season of BoJack Horseman. Have you seen BoJack Horseman? Watch it. It's sad. It's hilarious. It's heartbreaking. It's fantastic. The best Aaron Paul's been since the 4th season of Breaking Bad.
I mean, to be fair, isn't it what's in between? A long way down, or whether a Pierce Brosnan film, and Need for Speed. I mean, it's not really.
No, that's what I was saying. It's the best thing he's done since.
Yeah, but like.
But no, I've
this is the best thing I've done in 2 years, podcast wise. Doesn't really mean much when there's been many.
But yeah, that's pretty much the recap of TV right now. The strongest stuff really
is to come.
Me is probably to come, yeah. But the strongest stuff is currently on online, which is fascinating to see.
It's so much. It's so much more convenient as well. Like logging on my iPad or on my TV, and it's all linked. Like, it's on my Chromecast, PS4. It's just nice to have that. I mean, we've got Black Mirror and Stranger Things to come in the next month and a half, probably. Yeah. Which is going to be ridiculous.
It's going to take up a lot of time. I will give a shout out to me 12 months ago, who said that I did not like the look of the series of unfortunate events. I didn't think Neil Patrick Harris could do the job that I would have wanted him to do, because the books are great. But it's something that I was floored by. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a really interesting take. Can't wait for the 2nd season of that. Hopefully they're going to make a 2nd season of that. But he was great.
I'm still going through it because it's quite chaptery. I think it's great to just watch 2 episodes of a 2-parter. Yeah. And then watch another one and then carry on through. I think it's great, and I'm really enjoying just every couple of weeks or months. I'll be like, I'll watch the next bit of
bloody finish. It's good. Okay, so I believe that's pretty much it in the way of this podcast, isn't it?
Google Docs is cool, isn't it?
That's next to the show notes.
In joke from me and Brad.
Enter the Matrix. I don't know. I mean, I think joke's a bit of
a
generous term to use there.
So, what's the plan going forward about podcasting?
Hopefully we won't wait 2 years for the next one. I guess we'll see how this one does. If people like us chatting shit, then we'll do another one. If people don't like us chatting shit, we'll do many more. So,
and also, like, if you want special guests, I mean, the previous episode of this, although there was only 5, we had a real mix of people on it, and I think that really works. This podcast, having new voices in, and mixing it up. So let us know if you want to see. I mean, there's a few friends that I'd love to bring on.
There used to be 3 of us. This time around there was 2.
No, he hasn't been on this podcast, I don't think.
Oh, he hasn't?
No, just leave it to
us. Oh, well. There was only ever 2.
I can't remember who used to. Yeah. I think it was mainly me on this one.
So we do usually focus on the film podcast, but if there's a topic you'd like us to talk about, it's probably best that we let you decide the running order of this, because, you know, it's alright us sitting here chatting about stuff that we like, but as you can tell, we're into a varied number of weird shit.
Are we?
Aren't we?
Are we?
Are we?
How far are we getting into this? I mean, it's quite a personal podcast now.
I mean, we've talked about Crash Bandicoot on the same podcast as we had the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, Force Friday, and Game of Thrones.
It's everything we love, which is the original idea for the website, to be totally honest. It's just to share things we love. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to pump out news for you that we don't really like. It's everything we like. And I think this, more than film podcasts, is just stuff where we just want to throw together and talk about it.
But again, like there's going to be quite a high chance that if they put something out there, we're going to be interested in it anyway. Yeah. So get involved, give us a dislike and an unsubscribe.
Not unsubscribe, give us a dislike.
Where can people find you? Where are you at?
In my house.
What's your address?
I'll put a GPS on this so they can come find me. You can find me at CMoorin, CMOORIN on Twitter, and if you search my name anywhere, really, it'll link you to the right places.
Oh, I'm everywhere.
I was very lucky that my name's very original.
Mine's not. So you can find me on Twitter at Bradley_J_Evans.
He's got a short.
I spent
Bevans.
That was taken.
Was it really?
Yeah, like Bevans 69723AB0 was taken.
Oh, God.
But I send a lot of shit and death threats to Trump, so if you're into that...
And David Cameron. I've noticed on Facebook there loads of pig emojis.
I do like to send a pig emoji to David Cameron. So just give us a follow, or not. Block us on Twitter, that'd be fun. So reverse psychology.
Don't PayPal me money. My email address is...
Do you have a Patreon for this?
Not anymore, but we may relaunch it. I mean, to be fair, the reason why we stopped it before, it's a bit of real time now. For anyone that's listened this far, you're clearly interested somewhat.
Yeah.
So we did have a Patreon a few years back, and we stopped it because we felt like we weren't doing regular content.
Yeah.
To be honest, but if we do regular content, and if I feel we can't deserve it more, I think we will.
We deserve it. We deserve it. We put a lot of care
into the one podcast 2 years ago.
Nurtured this. Okay. You definitely didn't take a 5-minute break to eat some, sausage and chips.
It's massive editing, mate. No one knows.
Okay. Anyway, until next time. Fuck Trump.
We have to bleep that.
Why? Why?
I love Donald Trump.
Fucking keep that out.